I was 175 November 25th. January 2nd, I got on the scale. I was 211.
So you won by losing. Is that what happened? You won by losing?
How much money was this? How much money did they bet you?
That's the worst.
It was $300.
$300?
$300 for diabetes.
Is for entertainment purposes only. You'd be an idiot to listen to anything these degenerates say. Invest at your own risk, do research, but seriously don't listen to these ass clowns. Now enjoy Cash Daddies.
Welcome to Cash Daddies. We're banking fatties back in it to win it. Howie Dewey, Johnny Woodard, we're in it. Johnny's about to go to Vegas to watch Summer League.
Next
watch
week,
a 7'5" Black European go at it, dude. Hardcore.
Oh, you're going to the Summer League, Johnny?
Yeah, I used to go every year.
Can't wait.
I'm
trying to get this. Trying to get this fucking guy to go. He's just a family man now. It's so disappointing.
That's a good time, man.
It is a good time, dude.
I like those dudes too. The guys that are in their like second or third year, they played overseas, but they come back for the summer league and they've gained 30 pounds. They just kick the shit out of everyone.
Yeah. The first day the first day is Charlotte and versus the Spurs. So it's going to be Miller versus Wembanyama.
There should be a prop bet of how long until this kid gets hurt, because there's no way when you're a big man in the NBA that you don't get hurt your first year.
I'm surprised he's playing in Summer League, honestly. A lot of people said they didn't think he was going to play in Summer League.
Well, I mean, you're the number one pick. You got to play in Summer League. You have to.
Yeah.
Like if they don't, that means they're nervous about this guy. Just get it done with, man. Just get it out there. Let him get hurt so he gets it out of his way. I mean, we'll see if he's either going to be built like Kevin Durant, or he's going to be built like the Greek Freak. You got to hope the Greek Freak. That if you can get the Greek Freak with a 3-point shot, you might have the greatest player to ever play the game.
Yeah, I mean, there's just the problem is you're right, Sam. There's no comp for him. There's been no comparable player who moves like that height, but it's also that skinny. So you got all these positives, and then
he's an evolution of Kevin Garnett. That's what he is. Kevin Garnett changed basketball. He was the
Kevin
first
Garnett
guy
didn't have those handles. I mean, this guy's got tight handles, dude. I mean, he's really.
He's the fluidity of a guy who moves like that. We've never seen that before. Everything else has been like, you remember Patrick Ewing? He'd just be who's my favorite
closest to that height that has had like a handle like that.
The kid from Gonzaga that got hurt. He was supposed to be the next coming.
Chet Holmgren, right?
Yes.
Yeah. He's actually the dark horse for Rookie of the Year this year. It's Wembanyama, but he's right there.
7'2", built just like the guy from France.
Well, that dude got hurt on defending a layup.
Yeah,
LeBron was doing a layup and he hurt himself.
Yeah.
I think that kid's got, I don't know, there just seems like a different kind of build. He looks just like Sean Brady, he looks like one of those spider monkeys minus the web. Doesn't he look like that one if you didn't have the webbing in there?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
All right, let's get into it. Not a sports podcast. Guys, how was your week?
We're fighting, baby. We are fighting. We bought these Tesla puts probably a little too early because this, if you've seen the last, funny as hell, man. I had 3 people call me on Friday saying, hey, man, you really should buy Tesla. And I'm like, no, you should be shorting it right now. It's too high. And it's been downgraded the last 3 days. It's down probably 15% in the last 3 days. So I see that thing dropping quite a bit more.
Tesla?
Yeah.
Is this a sign of things to come?
Well, yeah, I mean, stuff in technology in the NASDAQ just went up too fast, too quickly, too fast. So you take a look at Tesla. Tesla jumped right from 220 to 277 in 2 weeks. And in the last 2 days or the last week, it's gone from 277 back down to 249. And it's probably going to go a lot lower. But it's funny. I got friends who are like, yeah, I think I'm going to buy it. And I'm like, I love when I hear from you guys because that's when I know it's time to go the opposite way.
My boy Mike Romanelli is like, dude, we gotta get on this Tesla. I'm like,
I told him the other day, I should no buy puts, don't have anything, don't buy. It's too high, man. You're gonna, it may not go back to 277 for 6 months, a year even. I said, no, you're timing it. Wait till that thing drops back to 230, 220.
Well, Romanelli brought up a great point, and that was that his that now all electric car chargers will be using Tesla chargers. Right. Everywhere, all over the world.
Yes, that is true.
And you don't think that's a big deal?
We brought that up on last week's show. Johnny brought it up. So if that was big news and a huge thing, that thing would have jumped another 40 points instead of dropping.
It was built in. Yeah, it's probably priced
40 points. So, that news was all factored in. Will it help their bottom line a little bit? I mean, it's just chargers. I don't know what they're paying for it. I don't know how big a deal that's actually. I've heard some analysts say it's not a big deal at all. It's Elon does this. You watch, if Tesla takes another beating for the next few days, if it goes back down to 220, Elon will put out a piece of news every day. Hey, we're meeting with India. Guess what? We're opening up a new factory in Australia. Our truck is looking better than we thought. I mean, that's what he does. But it's Tesla. He's got a good car. The prices come down on it. But that's what it is. It's not worth the stock's too balloon. Personally, for an automobile stock, I like Ford better. I like it much better. Why? I mean, Ford's a stock that's gone from $12 to $14.40 over the past 3 months. I mean, they just laid off a bunch of workers, which is always great for the stock price. You hate to say
now, and he's trying to. Have you seen? He's trying to prop the price of Tesla up by saying that. Sorry, just to get back to Elon for a second. He's trying to prop the price of Tesla up by saying that the cars could be fully autonomous by the end of the year. That was his. You said, Howie, that he's always managing kind of the news to try to kind of keep it bobbing. And that was the latest thing that just came out. He's saying, we could have fully autonomous cars by the end of the year, which I think is
your last 17 have driven into trees. It's like, no, you're a long ways from that, man. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't know a lot of my friends. They're like, hey, yeah, I got this autonomous car, man. Let's go for a nice hour drive. It's, it does everything.
It's also a $15,000 option, which it's in beta mode now. It's a $15,000 option.
That's what it is. But how are you going to get a car like that on a public road? What state is going to say, all right, let her rip? I mean, there's got to be some sort of a law that has to be passed.
Dude, you really think they're going to not allow fucking rich people to do whatever the fuck they want to?
Yeah, but I mean, I can't see where. I mean, in cities, I don't know. We're a long ways away from this shit, I think. I don't think it's right around the corner.
Yeah, I mean, I do see those Waymo cars around my neighborhood, but I mean, they look like something from the Navy. They've got all these radar things spinning around on them, like a big one on the top, and then at every corner of the car, there are these little radar things spinning around.
Radar love.
Good song. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just
Hey, by the way, what are those things in the parking lot with the blue lights that just fucking spin?
Those police things?
What are those?
I think those are like police emergency call boxes or something. I don't know. I think they're just meant to scare the shit out of criminals, honestly. I don't think they do anything.
That's crazy. Hey, guys, I saw a video on YouTube yesterday that was saying, watch for Burger King to bounce back. Thoughts?
Burger King.
Reliable sources. There we go.
I mean, that's interesting because that particular Burger King is owned. It's not a stock. It's owned by shit. You gotta look it up. It's owned by one of these food companies. But Burger King, out of all of them, it's been in deep shit for a long time. Losing a shitload of money. Burger King, it's owned by Restaurant Brands. Restaurant Brands International, symbol QSR. And they own what else do they own? I don't know. They probably own fucking like who knows? Pizza Hut, Kentucky Fried Chicken. I don't know.
No. Burger King, really? I think who owns the people who own Taco Bell own like Kentucky Fried Chicken and all that shit.
Well, restaurant brands. Just look it up here. QSR. So
yeah. I mean, there's a holding company that owns Burger King, and I think that's owned by one of those. Chunks of it are owned by what you were saying, Howie, like restaurant brands or something like that.
QSR. That's Restaurant Brands International. Restaurant Brands International. It's a quick service restaurant company. They own Burger King,
Subway, McDonald's,
they own
Starbucks,
Warehouse Subs. They own Tim Hortons, blended coffee, blah blah. They own Popeye's Chicken. But no, they own Burger King.
Yum Brands.
So even if Burger King, it's kind of like an InBev Budweiser thing. If Burger King shit the bed and went bankrupt, this stock would still be kicking.
All right. I mean, because Burger King was number 2, and now it's like 3, but they say it's having a comeback.
Is it number 2? Like, I can't believe that. When's the last time you ate at a Burger King?
Wendy's.
When's the last time you ate at a Burger King? Like, I don't ever remember.
But are you a big fast food guy?
I mean, sometimes I'll have a burger. Yeah, dude, I used to be, but I mean, I never think to go to Burger King anymore.
Well, it's crazy because on La Brea off of Sunset, there's a Wendy's and then there's a Burger King. And the line to Wendy's is around the block.
Because it's way better, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, who's eating at Burger King, dude?
Yeah, but dude, imagine a world without Burger King, bro. Do you want that?
Yeah, I mean, probably. Honestly, I wish there were some healthier alternatives. Yeah.
Like, to me, it's like when the burger, if we lost Burger King and Toys R Us, I don't know if I could exist anymore. It would just, everything from my youth is dead.
When I was in my 20s, I lived with 3 guys in one house. And we used to do this thing on Saturday.
Were they sex trafficking you?
Saturday mornings, we'd wake up all hungover, and here was a bet. The bet was this. I would go to Burger King. I'd get a double Whopper with fries, and I would eat it. And they would start a watch, and they would have under-overs. They would all bet on how long I could hold out before just absolutely shitting my pants.
You would shit yourself that fast?
It was usually between 1 to 5 minutes.
What?
After eating a Whopper, after a night of drinking draft beer, you go to Burger King and just fill up on a Whopper with onions.
It made you shit yourself.
That's like a goose. You're like a goose, just pot. Yeah. These guys were not.
And you were laying golden eggs. Is that what you're saying?
These guys weren't a good influence on me. One guy ran a restaurant when I was teaching 4th grade at the time. And we had a bet at Thanksgiving. We're all sitting around getting shit faced. We had a bet. And I was 165 pounds. And they all bet me that from Thanksgiving to New Year's Eve, I couldn't gain 30 pounds. And I'm like, all right, but I'm going to need help. And the guy that ran the restaurant said, every day you can come up. I'll give you as many wings as you want and draft beer. He goes, so I would get done teaching at 4:00 and I'd go to Buffalo Wild Wings. That was the name of it. I'd walk in.
Hold on. It was Buffalo Wild Wings before Buffalo Wild Wings.
It was the original. Yeah. This was in Statesboro, Georgia. It was Buffalo Wild. It was one of the first
ones. I love how you said that like we've never heard of Buffalo Wild Wings. It was like, called
Buffalo Wild Wings is everywhere, bro.
Well, back then it wasn't, man. This is like,
you're like, I went to this little place called Domino's Pizza.
Well, that comes into a second because here's what I would do. I would run up at 4:00 and they would start giving me pitchers of beer and I would start eating wings. I wouldn't crush them. I would eat them like over the course of 4 to 5 hours. Then I would order a pizza at home. I would go home and I would eat as much as I could before bed. And I'm not shitting you. I'm not making this up. I was 175 November 25th. January 2nd, I got on the scale. I was 211.
So you won by losing. Is that what happened? You won by losing?
How much money was this? How much money did they bet you?
That's the worst.
It was $300.
$300?
$300 for diabetes.
So listen, getting that weight off, I got it off by April. I literally woke. My head got this big. People didn't recognize me. I had no neck.
Of course.
You
look like you got the downs.
I saw my dad. My dad goes, "I got it. You got to do something." He goes, "Howard." He goes, "Fucking look at you. You've let yourself go."
Yeah.
I was like 25 years old.
Yeah.
So, Sam, what I did was I literally every day for lunch I would eat a salad, and granola bars, and I would go home and just run as far as I could. I got up to like 5 miles, but I'm going to tell you, it took me 30 something days to gain 45 pounds. It took me 4 months of running every day and eating grass to lose it.
Yeah.
It was fucking horrible. It was the worst thing I've ever gone through, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that is the worst story I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah,
I mean,
for $300, dude.
For $300, you almost killed yourself.
Yeah, you do stupid shit in your 20s.
I love how you were like, I'm not lying. I got up to 210 pounds. Like, we didn't believe that eating like a fat fuck for fucking 3 months that you wouldn't get giant, dog.
I mean, I get it. These actors out there, making millions of dollars to gain a few pounds here or there. You made $300.
Yeah.
Yeah. $300 I did it for. And they took a picture of me from here up, and they put it on the refrigerator. And I'm not shitting you, there wasn't an offensive lineman at University of Nebraska that looked as big as me. My neck was like this.
Poor dude.
It was just ridiculous, man. I mean, I haven't gained that much weight. Well, the pandemic I did. That was, but that was excusable.
So
Sam,
what do you like?
I have a story, Sam, that you will love if you want to hear it.
I would like to hear it.
BlackRock CEO Larry Fink has spent years reminding investors that they should consider responsible environmental, social, and governance practices when evaluating companies. But he now refuses to use the word ESG any longer, saying it has been misused by the far left and the far right. I'm not blaming one side or the other, but it has totally been weaponized, Fink said on Sunday at the Aspen Ideas Festival, according to media reports. What do you think about that, Sam? Has ESG been misused and misbranded by
the right? Here's the problem. Like, people found out, and now he's like trying to backtrack on it. And, I guess Texas or Florida pulled out their money now, just like some of those smaller southern states were doing it. Well, I guess Florida has done it, and you're seeing other states do it. And I honestly believe that Larry Fink will take the fall on everything, because now people are starting to go, I'm sure there's people going, hey, man, we're losing like billions of dollars doing your bullshit. You told us this would be good for our investment. I mean, and now they're losing. I mean, what did Budweiser lose? Like $20 billion? I mean, like crazy numbers, dude.
Yeah, but those fuckers are back. What is back?
Yeah, but this goes back into what I've been saying. It's all a Ponzi scheme. I'm just sorry, Howie. It's just like when you tell me that these people lost upwards of $20 billion and their stock is up, that doesn't make any sense.
No, it does. You're missing the whole thing. It's market cap. Sure, Sam. When someone says Budweiser lost 20 billion, that means the stock was at $63 a share, and there were, I don't know, 500 million shares outstanding. You got to multiply it. It's a mathematical formula.
Sam, they're not saying like they lost that much in the stores or they lost that many in sales.
They did lose that.
No, they lost that much. Whenever they say a company lost a certain amount of money, like Target lost 30 billion, they're talking about the actual the market cap, the stock price. Like when that stock price, and it does mean something. Like when they said Elon Musk this week lost $4 billion, that's because Tesla went from 270 down to 240. You take the price of the stock and you multiply it by the amount of shares outstanding. That gives you how much the company's worth. So when Bud got hit, and it did get hit, when Bud got hit and it went from 66 down to like 53, yeah, that company lost billions of dollars. Now they have recovered some of it, but that's what they're talking about, market cap.
Here's a headline, by the way, Sam, that supports what you're saying. This is from Investors Business Daily. Bud Light sales may never fully recover, but Anheuser-Busch stock upgraded to a buy. I mean, isn't
Yeah.
that so? You're right,
Well,
though, Sam.
well,
There's some weird
listen,
stuff there.
I had a one of the Patreon members. He went in and bought Target. Shit, he got it at the low, man. It got down to 123 or something, and he said, "Look, it's Target. It's not going away." And as soon as he bought it, it went up like 6 points. I should have listened to him. And then somebody upgraded Target like yesterday. No, they're not upgrading the stock because they love it. They're just upgrading it because the valuation is so goddamn low. You know, the downside isn't that much, but the upside is. So, you know, you can still upgrade a shitty company. That's been going on.
None of this sales loss, nothing, none of these numbers mean sales loss. If people are like, sales are down 25%, that doesn't mean anything.
No,
well, that's a different thing. Yeah.
No,
look up. Has Budweiser sales gone down?
No, they have. Yeah, I mean, they've lost sales for sure. That's why I just said.
What is that number?
Oh, the sales, yeah, but that's just Bud Light. That's just part. That's what did we say? Bud Light is what 15% of InBev's total.
I mean,
sales?
It's something fractional like that. Yeah.
So their sales have definitely gone down, and it did hurt the stock. They lost billions because the stock went from 66 down to like 53.
Like May 30, we had a story that says sales were down about 25%. And then 25 to 30% is what we're seeing. So, and I'm sure, you know, that's probably leveled off a bit since then. But if you're thinking about it's 25% of the profits of 15% of the total holdings of the company, then you have to put it in that context. You know, it's just a few points.
But Sam, what you're saying, does sales hurt the overall stock price? Absolutely. Hell yeah, it does. I mean, when Ford comes out and says we're not selling as many F-150s as we thought we would, you probably don't want to be owning Ford stock. It definitely hurts it. But, you know, I don't know that article I read that said, you know, as far as the boycotts go, you know, they're not really going to hurt the overall number. They never have. But what it does do, and that guy that wrote that article had a good point. He says what it does is it makes that CEO, it slaps him in the face and says, hey, maybe we fucked up here. Maybe we shouldn't go this route next time. If we had just sat back and not done a goddamn thing, maybe our stock price would have gone up.
Well, let's take a look at Target, right? Johnny, can you look this up? Yeah. They've talked about how they've lost $500 million in fraud. So then you take that and then you go on top of that. Now we got people boycotting and the Target sales are down.
$400 million blamed on organized crime, loss in profits.
I'm glad you brought that up, Sam, because today they passed a retail theft law. Congress passed a retail theft law for conglomerates, groups of people coming in and drilling stores like Nordstrom's, Target, Walmart. So, but here's the weirdest thing about this fucking law. I read the whole thing, and basically the law is this: they're going to start auditing Amazon. Amazon, they're saying, is one of the culprits of this shit.
What do you mean?
Oh, people are stealing and selling it on Amazon?
Yes. So these conglomerates, they're going in, they're ripping off all these Target stores with hundreds of thousands of goods, and they're turning it around and they're selling it on Amazon. So
fascinating.
Basically, the new law says that if Amazon doesn't comply to these investigations on which items are being sold, which are trademarked, which aren't, that they're going to be fined thousands of dollars. That's what the theft law is.
Interesting.
Which I thought was wild, because when I read that retail theft law, I thought, okay, if groups of people come in, maybe they're going to just fucking tase them all. I mean, you know, that would make sense.
Yeah, totally. You know, Costco is also plugging a hole in their profits. They kind of following Netflix's lead here. A lot of people have been share their Costco accounts, you know, like they share their card with family members. I'm just going to read this headline here from The Ascent. It's one of those Motley Fool publications. Costco is following Netflix's lead and customers aren't going to be happy. It's a well-known rule that shopping at Costco requires a membership card, and both Gold Star and executive members receive 2 cards for 2 individuals. However, the terms of service indicate that these cards are supposed to be used by individuals residing in the same location, the same house. So they're starting to crack down on that at self-checkout. A lot of people were going through there and using a card with somebody else's face on it, somebody else's name on it. And Costco is about to start really cracking down on that, which that, to me, I don't understand that. Unless, because I mean, don't they still make their money from selling things? Don't they want to sell shit? Is it really that profitable, the membership side for Costco?
Yeah, it's so crazy, right? It's just
Weird.
It's really weird. And I mean, if people going in there buying stuff, I don't understand what the problem is, and it upsets me. And it's just,
Have
seems like.
Have you ever gone through a checkout line? I mean, where you're checking everything out yourself. I'm sure you have. I did this last year. I went to a Lowe's, bought some stuff, but I went and got 3 of those big water jugs to put in the water jug cooler. And on the way out, I'm scanning, and I bought like $300 worth of shit. And the bill came to like $49.50. And I'm thinking to myself, this can't be right, man. There's got to be something. So I'm looking, and the receipt came out, and I just like, fuck it. Just walked out the front door and went home. And literally my girlfriend was like, first of all, you didn't pay for any of these water jugs. I bought like 4 things in lawn care. None of that went through.
You're one of these retail theft organizations, Howie.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I don't understand how they think self-checkout isn't going to cost them a ton of money. I just don't.
I think, Sam, the future, though, is that shit that Amazon has, where every item as you walk out, it's like, it's like charged to your account or whatever. So that's the future, is where everybody has like a company card. You know what I mean? Like you have an account with a store. When you walk out, it debits that from your account. That's the future. That's what they all want to do.
All right, let's bring the guest in. Can we bring the guest in?
Yeah.
Hey, guys, I want to talk to you about our good friend, James McMahon at Copy My Crypto. Guys, we've seen so many people make ridiculous money from crypto, but did you know it's easy for you to do the same? That's right. The Copy My Crypto membership site shows you the coins that YouTuber James McMahon personally holds and allows you to copy them. It's like having a big brother who knows what he's doing. You don't need to know a thing about crypto or how to invest, as you simply do what he does. So let me tell you about James. He runs the Crypto with James YouTube channel, which, despite heavy censorship, has over 26,000 subscribers. Since March 2020, he's told his viewers to buy 26 crypto coins. Had you put $100 into each, it'd be well worth over $123,000.
Wow.
Of the 26 coins, his top pick coin, called Phantom, went up 692 times from when he said. That one call alone has retired a number of people, including guys in their 20s and 30s. Remember, this is public knowledge. You can go to YouTube and verify this yourself. So if you'd like to join the 2,800 members at Copy James, then stop what you're doing and head over to copymycrypto.com/Sam. That's copymycrypto.com/Sam. That's SAM. Okay. You'll not only find proof of everything I've said, but my listeners will get full access for just $1. Once again, that's copymycrypto.com/Sam. The recession is here. You can suffer like everyone else or choose to thrive. James is the real deal. Go visit the site now. All right, let's get into it. Very excited for this next guest to join us. Please welcome to the show, Jon Ostenson. How are you, brother?
Hey, doing great. Excited to be here.
Well, Jon, we appreciate you coming and joining us here on Cash Daddies. For our listeners who may not be familiar with you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and where our listeners can find you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I head up a group called FranBridge Consulting, and we work with entrepreneurs and investors all across the country. And we represent about 600 franchise companies. So we play matchmaker, helping people get into business ownership for the first time or as a complement to their current portfolio, maybe a more semi-absentee style. But I specialize in an area I call non-food franchising. So it's all these other industries and opportunities outside of food, because I humbly believe there are easier ways to make money. So I actually have a book called Non-Food Franchising as well. And people can find us out there on franbridgeconsulting.com.
All right. The links are in the description below. Well, give us some examples of non-food franchises.
Yeah, right now, non-trendy is the new trendy, or non-sexy, I would say, is where people want to be. It's those boring cash flowing businesses that are Amazon resistant, maybe a little less discretionary. So you're talking about things like home and property services, insulation, gutters, dumpsters, concrete. You're talking about things like senior care. People are all getting older, and so seniors we'll always spend on those. We'll spend on our pets, on our kids. So we're doing a lot of soccer, youth soccer options. We're putting people into senior care, but then all these property services, even automotive. We're still doing oil changes, a little bit of health and wellness, and so all these industries. When people see them, oftentimes they don't know what they're looking for until it's right there in front of them. Then they understand the financials, and they understand kind of this idea of portfolio building, as I call it, where you stack franchises on top of each other and put managers in place and kind of co-manage the manager over the franchisor. So we just have plenty of client case studies where they've been able to build out these robust portfolios over time of these different types of businesses.
Why is this so hot? Why are people franchising? Why is that franchising so hot right now?
Yeah, really, it was hot before COVID, but I think ever since COVID, it's only picked up steam. People we're sitting around thinking about the path they're on and saying maybe now's the time to scratch that entrepreneurial itch. So I'd say that's a component of it. But I also think, I'd say probably 75% of our clients are real estate investors. And right now, there's just not many good real estate deals to be had. So that's a common narrative that I hear. And others are just kind of waking up to the idea of, hey, I've always wanted to be in business. I've never had that brilliant idea. And maybe I want to hedge my risk a little bit and step into a proven system. And so they're really resonating with the whole idea of the proposition that franchising provides them, of having a playbook, having a coach on the sidelines, of having others around the country running the same business day in, day out, leverage supply chains, what have you. So we're doing our best to get out there, and we do a lot of speaking, a lot of educating, and I think that's helping people turn the light bulb on.
So do you take customer A and hook them up with franchise B that's already been an existing successful franchise for years and years? Or are you coming up with these franchises and saying, hey, we have this franchise, it's been around for 2 years, it's doing gross amount of sales within this population? What do you do? You're hooking them up with the franchise?
Yeah, in about 5 or 10% of cases, they're buying into an existing business. So it's a franchise that's been running in that market. But in over 90% of the cases, it would be a proven franchise where they're operating in other markets, but not in their local market yet. So It'd be allowing them to open up. And so that's really the core of it. Beautiful thing is our clients never pay us a nickel. We're funded by the franchise companies, very much like an executive search or real estate type model. And so, really allows us to sit on our client side of the table and ultimately present them with, hey, if we're in your shoes, here are the 10 or 12 opportunities in your market that we see hitting all of our criteria: the profit model, the competitive advantages, the leadership teams of the franchisor. We've been very blessed the last couple of years to actually do more deals than anybody else in the country in the franchise space. And so allows us firsthand to see what's resonating with all these different backgrounds, whether it be doctors, lawyers, corporate executives, existing business owners. And, and then we were able to bring those insights into our client situation, because most people don't know what they're looking for until it's right there in front of them.
I love it. For an example, like I can remember when I lived in the Atlanta area, I had about a year where I'm like, there's a lot of good franchises. I was looking at, they had the CertaPro painters, they had a seal coating franchise. And I'm looking at the numbers and all these, and I'm like, wow, that's a great idea, but I could probably do this on my own. And that's actually what I ended up doing. But I took basically all their ideas, stole them, and started, Howie's Pristine Property Maintenance. But I remember looking at the numbers, and the thing that I had a problem with, I was looking at the painting company, and they're sending me their gross sales. And the problem was, you only could operate within a certain few zip codes. So they would say, once you get past Roswell, we have another guy there, so you can't go into that area. If you're south of Smyrna, you can't go into that area either because we have another guy. So I was just like, okay. So how do you deal with that stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and there are a few ways to look at it. One, I love having adjacent franchisees. So I myself, I've been a franchisor. I'm a multi-brand franchisee, operate a handful of different businesses. You know, but I've got good people running them. It allows me to do what I do with the consulting. You know, but a perfect example would be my driveway business. I love the fact that we have brand awareness of other franchisees around us. You know, and so you can say it's, well, I can't go into their area, but the fact is, we've got
you got a seal coating business too.
We've got plenty. Yeah, we fix cracks and joints and do a little bit of line striping.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the non-sexy space.
There's
Actually,
so much money in that shit, man. It's not even.
Yeah.
That's what I try to tell people, dude. If you know how to seal coat, is it messy? Yeah, it's a little messy. What can you charge? You can charge quite a bit, man. When people want cracks, when they need that stuff sprayed down, that's where the money is.
And here's another thing. I mean, we're starting to be in this world where everybody wants to be a TikTok celebrity or an Instagram star, an influencer. So all these people need to keep society running, and there's things that need to get done. And if you, I mean, like I have daughters and they're only 3, but you know, when they go out, I'm like, hey man, you really want to look for a good guy? Find a plumber. Those guys make some money. Find people who can fill tasks for people. You don't have to go for the glitz and the glamour. You want your bill paid and the lights kept on. So it's like all these things that you're talking about really resonates with people. My question is this: how much capital do you think you need to start one of these? Because you know, this whole show is about helping people maybe beginning on their journey. Some people who've maybe found a way to make money on the internet and they want to invest in themselves in their future. Like, how much money do you think you need to start to get into something like this?
Yeah, and of course the answer is it depends. I mean, if you're looking to buy a laundromat or a car wash, you know, we're talking 7 figures, and we do some of those placements. Most of our clients are getting involved, though, when you look at the franchise fee, startup costs, working capital, all grouped together. You're looking at the range, I'd say, of 150 to 350 is probably where 75% of our deals are happening. And, you know, some of our clients are using cash. Cash is sitting on the sidelines right now. People are nervous about interest rates and everything else. But many people are still using SBA loans. You know, the SBA and, you know, franchise-friendly lenders love franchising. So that's very common. Some people are using old retirement plans and rolling those over through what's called the ROBS program. So a lot of different ways. And to kind of finish the thought on adjacent franchisees, you know what we did? We went out and bought up 2 of the other franchise locations around us. So it gave us an expansion, allowed them to have an exit. But while they were in operation, loved the brand awareness.
And I love that. I'll tell you, franchising, especially, I like where you're coming from more than anyone, because, you know, you're not talking about opening up an ice cream shop, a sub shop. You're talking about, you know, blue collar work where, I hate to say it, but you can probably make as much as you want to. Look, I lived in the Atlanta area. I started a pressure washing business. I never held a pressure washer in my life. I'm making calls. How do I do this? What the fuck is this tip? What's the difference between diesel and regular? You know, so I started this thing, and from that, you know, I would go into houses and they're like, hey, you know, do you charge to clean rooms? No, but my buddy that owns a Service Pro franchise, he does. And I know for a fact he made $425 last year. So I'd end up leaving a house. I've said this before, with contracts for painting, deck staining, window cleaning, inside and out, which people wanted twice a year. You have no idea how much money is in window cleaning, especially in the Atlanta area. I mean, you go to Alpharetta in those areas, and you know, Country Club of the South. Those people want that shit cleaned twice a year.
Yeah.
I
paid $1,000 recently just for the exterior of our house to be cleaned, just the windows.
Yeah. And I had a guy in Atlanta, and that's all he did. He cleaned windows. He made $250, $275 a year.
I love this.
Windows. I'm talking. He had a system, squeegee system, in out, bang, bang, bang. He was quick, fast. This guy, he had a just a nice system set up. But like the Service Pro's got to be one of the greatest franchises in the country. It has to be.
But okay, so Howie's basically talking about starting his own business. But why are you saying that franchising is a better option than starting your own business from scratch?
Yeah, well, some people like Howie that want to put their thumbprints all over something, franchising may not be right for them. I won't pretend that it is. However, for so many that, are looking to build a portfolio over time and maybe they haven't run a business before, there are a lot of best practices you can glean from franchising. Some of the reasons I love franchising is it's a proven playbook. You're not having to question, is this business potentially profitable? Day one, here's the playbook, let's go execute. You've got a coach on the sidelines and the franchisor, assuming it's a good franchisor, and that's where we help our clients determine that. You've got other franchisees living the same thing day in, day out in their market. Well, I've been a franchisor. I've looked across our system. You're constantly exchanging best practices with each other and learnings. Down the line, there are going to be little things like economies of scale where maybe it's bulk buying potential for goods or services, marketing agencies. You already have data optimized around how do you launch a business in that space. You don't have to spend as much on the marketing. But one of my favorite things is the exit. Ultimately, when you're a business owner, you're building for the cash flow, you get the tax benefits, but you're also looking to build towards an exit. And there's been studies done, I'm happy to get into the detail here, around like kind of industries where you have an exit that's a franchise and a non-franchise, and comparing apples to apples. The franchise on average trades at a multiple 1.5 times the non-franchise. So there's a lot of value there if you've stood up a good business for someone to step into where they love the fact it's already up and running, but you also again have the benefits of a franchisor and that support system on the back end. And one thing I would add is you look out there, there's some massive industries ready for disruption. Kind of sticking with the property services theme. Insulation is a $53 billion industry. Can anyone name 2 or 3 companies in the insulation space? No. Talk about an industry where if you step in with a white collar approach to a blue collar need, the bar is pretty low.
Yeah. Or to piggyback, I think if I was to start a business today, I would get a few vans and I would start a mold remediation business. I just don't think there's enough of those companies out there. And the ones that you see, those things are so damn profitable because you got a problem with a house. Look, they're not paying you. The insurance company is. And nobody knows about this shit. I had a buddy that did mold. This guy had houses everywhere. He made so much money. But I will say one thing. I feel that one of the things you have over, say, someone like me, and I felt this way, is that when you buy a franchise, they're very good at saying, okay, here's the deal. You're buying this business. Your area has 465,000 people. We're going to help you market to all those. They kind of help you introduce you to these people that need your service. Whereas if you're starting on your own, you're kind of like you're knuckle dragging it, man. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I'm in a truck at 3 a.m, Sam, driving around neighborhoods, flicking plastic flyers out with my left hand, trying to hit mailboxes.
Yeah. And to your earlier point, there's some franchises that are worth buying, just like anything. There's some that are not. You want to be asking those questions as you go through the whole exploration process of what value am I getting essentially for that royalty that I'm paying back. So you always want to have your antenna up and be asking questions and make sure that leadership team is a group that you want to partner with. And again, that's kind of where we step in and help.
How do you figure out what is the best franchise for you to invest in?
Yeah. Well, you can go out there and start Googling around, but the challenge is you've got 4,000 franchise companies. They're all putting their best foot forward and sending you their marketing messages. It's all about what's going on behind the scenes. And that's where we step in and help our clients with a very streamlined process. Get to know our client. We present them with opportunities. We show them, hey, of what's available in your market, given your situation, given what we've seen, given our relationships out there, here's the 10 or 12 that we would, if we're in your shoes, we want to be looking at, and here's why. We take them through those. They narrow it down to 3 or 4. Every single time, the one that was number 4 in their mind pops up to number 1 after they get involved in the process. So you just don't know what you're looking for until it's right there in front of you. And our whole process and the franchisor's process is designed to get you a ton of information before you reach that point of, do I want to sign?
Policy Genius has licensed and award-winning agents who can help you find the best fit for your needs.
Now, when somebody buys a franchise or purchases one of your franchises, do you guys help? Do you guys send them or refer them to anybody in the investment business? Like, listen, this is your new asphalt paving business or seal coating business. You know, your first year, we expect you're probably going to do these numbers, but you want to have some. This is your own business now. You don't get a 401k. You don't have a pension. No one's helping you. But look, we use this guy, or we would suggest setting up a SEP IRA or an IK, something like that. Do you guys help them in that with that at all?
You know, some franchisors would. I'd say that's an area we could probably expand to over time, Howie. We don't do a lot of that today. I do have some of those conversations with many of my clients early on, just how I think about my investment strategy and some of the tax hacks that I use, running my own business. So, I kind of share that more off the cuff. That's not a core piece of our business. I don't want to ever come across as offering investment advice around that. But certainly we've got
nothing wrong with just pointing them, say, hey, there's Morgan Stanley, Merrill Lynch, go ask your accountant.
We do have a financial advisory firm on our website that, some of our clients have chosen to use. And, I can certainly point them to the advisor that I use. And so, no, we've got, different partners. We also have funding partners, like Fran Fund does a lot of our SBA loans, and Rob's rollovers, probably 90% of our clients. And so, we do have preferred partners, franchise attorney. We also brought on a recruiting partner that can help our clients find a general manager. Because here's the thing, probably 2/3 of our clients are keeping their day job. They're getting this going on the side. Now, is that easy? No, but if anything worth doing is not easy. And so, it is doable because you've got that franchisor kind of co-managing your manager with you. They can be a great technical resource. Buck still stops with you, but we do see a lot of clients set it up that way.
What are some of the franchises you have that you suggest? What areas of business?
Yeah, quite a few. So we've kind of hit on home and property services. We've got a great one out there in the men's health space now. That's, testosterone treatments, just amazing numbers. They have a few different functions. I'd say health and wellness. We do a little bit of beauty and nutrition. Senior care. We've been doing a lot in the pet space, whether it be pet grooming, whether it be, we've got several around that space that we like. Lots of different niches. We're still doing oil changes in some states. We're not doing those in California, but we are still in other states. Senior care, a lot of youth enrichment, youth sports. And so what's fun is we try to share what's best in class in different categories of what's available. And we've got doctors getting, we did 9 gutter deals last year. Gutters are a $6 billion industry, largely gutter installations. Nine different placements. We had everyone from a Wall Street attorney in Boston to doctors on the West Coast to insurance guys in South Carolina. Speaking of South Carolina, this would be a great case study to point to. Client of ours over there, 40 years old. He's the largest franchisee of 2 Men in a Truck moving service. Operates in about 10, 12 markets. He's built it up over time. He's built this organization. They do $35 million a year in revenue, and he's brings in all this young talent and then promotes them to new opportunities with other franchises. So every year we do another deal. We did one in the waste management space. We did that same driveway one. He bought that as well. We've done one in the plumbing space. And so he just gives these guys responsibility. In every single case, he's come back and bought additional locations within the first year. So I just love looking at examples like that of what you can do with a little bit of time and effort.
Yeah, you're in an area, it just seems like you can cross-sell among so many. Like you just mentioned gutters. And 75% of the houses that I would pressure wash or businesses They would say, "Hey, can you look at our gutters? They're filled up every." Yeah, have you thought about gutter guards? How much would it cost? You know what? I'll give you a deal. I'll give you 30% off. I'll put them on for 1,200. You know, or no, it would cost me 3 hours to do it. So yeah, gutters is just huge business.
For sure. So we don't want to keep you here all day, but a final question I'd like to ask you is, what are the financials of franchising, like cost, revenue, profit, potential? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll give you an example. I just mentioned the gutters, kind of thinking along this lines. I'd say there's a reason why we did 9 of those. The financials are a little more attractive than some opportunities, but this is a good illustration. So all in investment, right around 200,000. That includes working capital, includes a lot of startup costs. Their franchisees are averaging 1.7 million a year in revenue. It was 1.2 million 2 years ago. So you're seeing really good comp location growth. This is across all their franchisees. 1.7. A lot of their franchisees hit the million mark in year 1. So they ramp up to that 1.7. And they're doing that at like a 27% EBITDA net margin bottom line. So call it 500,000 that they're netting.
27% margins.
Yeah. Now I've got our clients, building out conservative pro formas. We want to assume, what if we only do half as well? What if our ramp up takes longer? But still, there's a lot of meat on the bone with a business like that, even if you're then paying for a manager to run the business.
Yeah, so that's a really successful restaurant's around 12%. So that's twice as, you can't beat that. 27% solid, especially if you're doing those high numbers.
And I'd say the majority of what we see out there is probably more than that 15 to 20% range. But then when you have one pop like that, then it gets a lot of attention.
Yeah, that's
amazing. I think it's great. And I think people should take a look into it, check out your website, contact you, and see if maybe they could get something going. I think it's a great idea. I remember when I was really young, I heard about David Winfield having like 20 7-Elevens and how like much money he was making on each one of those. Franchising is a great opportunity. If you can figure out a way to jump in and get in the game, I think it's a great way to make some passive. Now you mentioned passive and semi-passive. How can a franchise be ran about that? That's the last question I want to ask you.
Yeah, the majority of franchises we work with allow for that. Owner operator, which is, you run it, the show day in, day out, or semi-passive. That's very, very common, where you put a manager in place day 1. There are 4 or 5 opportunities out there that our clients absolutely love that are truly passive, where the franchisor will run the business for you. It's kind of the holy grail in franchising. Doesn't happen often, but we do have a couple that are truly passive, one of which I'm personally invested in. It's custom orthotics and footwear. I just opened my first location down in Miami, outside of Miami, and planning a few more.
How many franchises do you own?
I think I've got 5 or 6 now. So from Minneapolis down to Miami, with the majority being here in Atlanta.
What are you doing to determine where you should open up your markets? Now, does the franchise help you going, hey, we think this would be a really great place to present a franchise? And do you tend to move to where you open your new franchise so you could help get off the ground?
Yeah. Every now and then people are moving. I'd say usually we try to find something local for them. So mine are all in Atlanta, with the exception of those in South Florida, where I'm truly passive. And the reason down there, just great demographics. We cater to diabetics and kind of an older customer base. In Minneapolis, the one that we're talking about, the line striping and concrete paving parking lot business, that's one that I'm fairly passive in as well, and don't need to be there, on site very often. So that was the logic behind those 2, but the rest are nearby here in Atlanta.
So let me ask you something. I keep saying I'm about to let you go, but I just have all these questions. Let's say the 3 of us are good friends and we're like, the 150 is a lot, but collectively, we'd have no problem with each of us throwing in 50G to start a franchise. What do you think of that?
Yeah, do it all the time. We've got many partnerships out there. And the key is, you want to get things right up front, get that operating agreement, crystal clear on what if this scenario happens or that scenario, and whose responsibility is this. Because I've seen partnerships go bad. I was a part of a 3-way partnership that went bad. Our operating partner ended up not being the guy that we thought he was, and the other guy ended up having to step in and run it. And so you just have to iron things out day 1. But yeah, very, very common.
I think that's amazing. I think that's a great idea. Again, partnerships can always get a little crazy, but if you think you got the right guy and it's a way to get in to get it going. And then maybe you start making money, you start buying your own franchises after that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But we'd love to offer our book, Non-Food Franchising, free copy to any of your listeners if they come out to our website. I think that can be a really good primer and good place to start.
All right,
What's
John,
the
one more time,
website?
tell them your website again and where they can find your book.
FranBridgeConsulting.com. That's FRAN, like franchise. It's FRAN bridgeconsulting.com. And when you come out there, you should get a pop-up that offers you a copy of the book. And I'll then have my assistant reach out and share that with you. And, if you're ready to take a next step and get on a call, I'd love to chat.
Well, I loved it. This was a great interview. This was a great conversation. You got my wheels turning and like ideas that could that maybe I could get into. I think it's a really great idea. Thank you so much, John, for coming on.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Great. Appreciate you guys. Check out the links below and hit John up if you're interested. Thank you, guys. All right. Thank you, John. That was a great interview. And all of us were like kind of blown away, and the wheels are turning. So let's get into it real quick. Howie, what is your pick of the week?
Not messing around here, man. It's today. This is all about sector rotation. I mean, tech was back up today. I love this more than anything right now. If you're ever gonna buy energy, now's the time to do it. Jump in by XLE. That's the ETF. It's down over the last 3 months from 87 down to 78. I expect this thing will probably bounce over the next week or two. I love XLE. Love XLE.
Does Russia have any effect on that, Howie?
Huh?
Does the shit in Russia have any effect on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, natural gas, I hold UNG, and natural gas went up 15% when that dude headed to take over Russia.
So crazy.
I wish he had just gone in. I wish that guy had gone in, and he should have, because he's going to die anyways.
Oh, he's screwed. Yeah, you'll hear about him getting poisoned or dying quietly in like a year or two, and it'll just be Putin.
That guy's dead man walking right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
unless it's like an orchestrated thing. If it's not, though, if he really did think that he was just going to go boss Putin with 10,000 guys or whatever, he's dead. He's dead for sure.
Dude, he said he held up because he didn't want bloodshed in Moscow.
This is a guy that cracked a guy's skull with a sledgehammer.
He's a mercenary, dude.
Yeah,
and I guarantee you, dude, that $6 billion that the Pentagon just suddenly fucking, we accidentally sent you too much money. Dude, and that dude's like, thank you for the cash. Oh, by the way, turn it around. Nothing's happening today. We're going back to fucking Belgrade or wherever the fuck, Belgium. I don't even know where the guy went. Belarus or whatever.
Maybe he made a deal with Putin. Said, I'll give you half. We're going to make it look like we're coming in,
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't
that guy's a scumbag, though, dude. Did you hear about that video? I mean, obviously I didn't watch it.
No, he's a dirtbag. This guy
they had a guy who was trying to desert, and then he deserted he got captured by the Ukrainians, and then they sent him back in a prisoner swap. And he's like, dude, don't send me back, bro. They could kill my ass. And then they make a video of them sledgehammering his brains out. Like just smashing his skull. And the guy's like, I support this. This is what should happen.
Yeah, that guy's a dirtbag. I mean,
and all those guys in his army are like ex-murder, or a lot of them anyway, are like ex-murderers.
It's the Blackwater of Russia. Anyways, that's it, guys. Come see us at the Patreon, where bangers bang.